guys, do you remember when I used to have a schedule and I used to release, 2 or 3 unboxings a week and some Let's Play content and all that? I don't. Anyway, here we are at Skies of Arcadia. This is one that I have been sitting on for a while, and like a lot of games, I thought that I probably had already done. I have not, so let's get right into it. So, of course, we have our 3 main characters, Weiss, Ica, and Fina on the front, with this lovely artwork. Skies of Arcadia, for anyone that doesn't know, is basically Sega's attempt at capitalizing on the big-budget JRPG trends of the time. And it's really one of the Dreamcast's only big RPGs. The Dreamcast wasn't really a big JRPG machine. But anyway, let's jump right into it. So, of course, we've got the lovely logo there. We've got the old Dreamcast logo, which always looks great. We've got this little sort of inlay here of the Dreamcast logo. This is an American copy, as you can see, rated T for teen. I've actually got a bit of a story about my trials trying to get a copy of Skies of Arcadia, but I'll get to that in a bit. I apologise about the reflections. It's one of the tricky things of trying to shoot with light and a reflective case. But over here you can see some great screenshots showing off the game's graphics, and I would say that I think this was 2000 when it came out, this would have been one of the best looking, at least certainly JRPGs that was around. The world is fully 3D, and it honestly, for the Dreamcast, it looks fantastic. Really holds up quite well. Even if things like, the occasional bit of voice acting is pretty janky. So the sky's the limit. Follow the adventures of Weiss as he journeys through uncharted skies to discover new continents and explore mystical ruins. Accompanied by Ica and Fina, he will wage epic battles against savage monsters, evil pirates, and a powerful enemy nation. An RPG experience unlike any other awaits you. And that is very much true. This is quite a unique game, even amongst the landscape of having so many old RPGs to catch up on. So you could full 3D world, customize your own airship with up to 22 crew members, hand-to-hand and ship-to-ship combat. And while the ship-to-ship combat may look cool, I will say that it's actually pretty weak mechanically, at least certainly early on. But anyway, so 1-player, standard controller, VMU compatible, jump pack compatible, which I think was for Rumble, I believe anyway, and VGA box. So the VMU stuff we'll learn about a bit more in the manual, but you had a little game that you could take with you. But aside from that, Macromedia Flash Player 3, gosh, that's a logo I haven't seen in a long time. Not really sure what that did. Maybe if it was one of the things where if you put the disc into the computer it did something, but not entirely sure about that. Maybe the manual will have something. Okay, then we have the discs. This is actually a 2-disc game. And these discs just look gorgeous. You've got the Sky Pirate logo, or Air Pirate actually, as this game calls them. Air Pirate logo for Weiss's crew. And I think if we just flip that out there, we have I think that's the Valuan logo, which are the sort of evil empire that the back of the box alluded to. Again, great discs art. Like very clean, very high quality print. This is a really premium package. And you can see there the artwork of the characters is sort of interacting, and it's gorgeous artwork, like very, very high quality. And I really like to see this stuff from RPGs, because you don't get this a lot of the time. A lot of the time this stuff wasn't really made. Where it's just sort of the characters hanging out and relaxing, and you can see Ica's singing there, or something like that anyway. It's just a really nice scene. Okay, so over here, now this is always the trick with Dreamcast games and CD games like this. You actually have to be able to get the manual out, but you can't take it out ahead of time because it's the front cover. There we go. Okay. So there's front cover again, and inside, unfortunately, it is a black and white manual, as many Dreamcast manuals were. Real trendsetters there, unfortunately. So thank you for purchasing Skies of Arcadia. Usual sort of thing, only played in a Dreamcast. Tells you how many blocks of VMU memory you need. A fair few. Well, the game's 27, and the VMU executable file for the extra game is 83. Okay. And basically it just explains things. Funnily enough, the first thing it explains is how to change discs. So the game consists of 2 discs, and naturally you've got to swap them over, but not really the most complicated thing, I would imagine. We have basic controls in villages and dungeons, controls for normal battles. And this game actually does have an interesting thing in that the controls in battles, they have an extra button which allows you to change the colour of your weapons and the sort of the element of them, and that changes the amount of damage you do very, very slightly to a lot of different enemies. So interesting little thing there. Controls during ship battles, controls in the air, so when you're actually flying around on the world map, because the world map in this game is actually entirely airship based. Very unique ideas in this game. I would love to see a sequel one day because it really deserves it. You can see we've got this great little silhouette of the airship there. But aside from that, it's pretty basic. It just goes through everything. We do get some more detailed information soon. So you can see a little screenshot of the world map there. I actually haven't gotten through much of the game yet. I'm only about, I think, 15, 16 hours in. I've had it since last Christmas, and it's just one of those things where I think Persona 5 and Breath of the Wild, I've only just managed to get through Persona 5, and Breath of the Wild took, over a month for me to be able to get through, so it's one of those things where I don't really have enough time, unfortunately, to get through every game, but I'm working on this now. The Swashbuckler, if I can speak, rating, which basically affects how sort of characters will react to you. So as you progress through the game, and depending on the decisions you make, you sort of become more and more... what's the good word for notorious? Sort of famous, I guess. And sort of you get more respect from certain people. But the funny thing about Skies of Arcadia is that I bought this game a few years ago from a German seller who had the American version. And unfortunately, it never turned up. It's one of those things where it got to Australia, and then either Australian Customs or Australia Post decided to just lose it. And the sad thing from that was that the seller that I bought it from ended up having to refund me. I tried to sort of fight on his behalf against PayPal and that sort of thing, but they basically said, no, it's his problem. It was his problem. It's not Australia Post, despite all the evidence, and that was that. Okay, so then we see some of the crew member stuff, which comes in after actually where I am in the game. But just explaining how the ship-to-ship battle stuff works. My biggest problem with the ship-to-ship battles is they're not bad, they're just incredibly slow, and I think it's partly because the developers might have been very enamored by what they were doing visually. Because it does really look cool, and for the year 2000, it looks like nothing else that's on the market. It's just a shame that airship battles feel very, very slow in this game, unfortunately. And it kind of bogs things down to the point where I tend just to put on a YouTube video or something while doing the airship battle, because they're not really that hard, they just sort of take a while. But anyway, usual sort of equipment stuff. The journal, which is actually a little tiny feature that I really like, where basically the characters in the game will write journal entries about what's going on, so you'll get sort of their perspective. Changing crew discoveries, which you can make in the world map, which is kind of neat. You can actually find hidden locations. Although the random encounter rate sort of makes that a bit more finicky. Pinter Quest, which is the VMU game. So when you find Pinter somewhere in the world, you can sort of add you get this Pinter Quest thing added to your VMU, and you can play these little mini-games to get extra treasures and stuff like that. You can dispatch him to go search for gold and items and stuff. I've actually never done it because I don't have batteries for my VMU, so when I take it out of the system, it's just dead. So unfortunately, I can never try Pinter's Quest. Options, of course, and the homepage, which is something you see in every Dreamcast game. They were very big on using the internet to have a homepage or something. So you cannot access the internet unless you have registered as a user with Sega. So this is for the Dreamcast browser. So that must be where the Macromedia Flash free thing comes in. And then on the back we have an ad for Phantasy Star Online, which of course was a very big game for the Dreamcast. Dreamcast really had a lot of great ideas and just never quite managed to make enough money off them. But of course that was coming out in January 2001. I have no idea if it actually made that date or not. I would imagine so. It was probably... I wouldn't be surprised if it was already out in Japan by this point. But that is your look at Skies of Arcadia. I know I didn't really talk that much about the game, but Skies of Arcadia really is one of the great RPG gems. The characters are wonderful. Having a full 3D world in an old-school JRPG is really such a treat that just... Final Fantasy X and Dragon Quest VIII are probably the only other really big examples I can think. Persona 4, I guess, stuff like that. Although kind of, by that point you're getting into sort of the later years anyway. But really, Skies of Arcadia is something very special. I highly recommend it if you're a fan of JRPGs. Music is great, visuals are great, the sort of artistic design of everything is great. The battle system is really enjoyable. Battle system music, actually, there's a few different variations, but one of them is truly fantastic. I highly recommend Skies of Arcadia if you're into this sort of thing. And, it's kind of nice now. I've kind of gotten to the point where I actually have started to... I do sort of have most of the big RPGs in my collection now, so that makes me very happy. Xenosaga is definitely one I need to get. Secret of Mana 2, Seiken Densetsu 3 is definitely one I'd like to pick up. But, I'm pretty happy with my RPG collection now, and I'm a big JRPG guy, so that just sort of... that's really the main thing that I've tried to collect. So, Skies of Arcadia, definitely a very worthy and very high up addition in that collection. So thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you next time!